Hi, welcome to the Village of Buchanan, April 9, 2025 budget hearing. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so we have, Marcus has done a preview of the budget twice now. And so this evening, we are going to go through the budget, questions answered, or any concerns from the board members. Currently, we're looking at a 4.11% increase for the year 25 to 26. So who would like to get started? I have a list of questions here, but is there anyone that's would like to? Oh, hi, Eileen. Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming.
I don't have any questions yet.
Okay.
So, go ahead. You feel free to start,
Okay.
Mayor.
I will. Okay. So, I marked some pages, unless you guys want to go page by page if something jumps out. I mean, we can get into the meat of it on, oh, it doesn't have a page, this is up front. One of the questions I have is here, there's a decrease in contingency of
Yes.
$100,000.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, another reason. One is to keep try to keep the tax rate lower, and our fund balance is healthy enough that I feel we have enough in fund balance in case to help us with the contingency as well.
Okay. I have question marks all through here, so. I figured it's easier to go page by page, I guess. This way, if anybody else has a question on
wanna
the
just-
page.
Shoot from the hip, or you want to just go by person, or how do you want to do it?
No, I'm
while
going
you're
page by
on,
page.
because while you're on that page,
Yes.
Oh, sure,
Okay,
yes.
go back.
the increase in the workers' comp. You know me, I'm an insurance guy. Was that just due to the hardening of the market? Was it due to lower payroll? Was it,
The increase in the workers' comp was due to claims that we've had.
okay? So it's claims experience.
Correct.
That was my concern.
Correct.
And do we have that under control? We have loss control in
Yes,
place to be able to.
Yes, the individuals that are back to work,
Okay.
but the problem is, because your experience.
Yep.
And it's going to take a couple of years before it comes off our books.
Yep, I know. But I just want to know the
yeah.
reason for it.
Yeah, you're my insurance expert. You know how that works.
So proposed revenue tentative, an increase in lieu of taxes, and I just want to understand how you.
What page on?
The one proposed revenues, dash tentative. It doesn't have a page number.
Okay, it's one of the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, revenues, okay.
All right, so we have an increase in lieu of taxes. So our pilot program was a 1.6 million that we negotiated, and that was originally, now I'm trying to go by memory, it was 1.4.
1.2.
And then 1.2, okay, because it went down that last year. And then we negotiated a 1.6.
Correct.
So I'm just trying to understand. So an increase in lieu of taxes, 600,000. It's 1.6, and you said 1.2. So
Correct, and we had the 400,000, the infrastructure money that went away in the new pilot. So that's why you see the reduction in that line, but we have the infrastructure money that goes away. And then the decrease in the state cessation fund.
Right, the
Net
cessation fund.
effect that we discussed at the last meeting is the $216,000 actual loss overall.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just flipping through some nice charts. And, I'm also going to mention, you have a chart here, how tax dollars are distributed, so people understand. The town taxes are roughly 2% of our taxes. The school taxes are always the highest, which is 56%. County taxes, 10%. And the tentative village one is 32%. But also remember, you get all your services from the Village of Buchanan.
Correct.
Okay. So we're just flipping right through. I don't think I have any questions on the summary of the 2025 tentative budget. Okay. And Marcus, you did say this was online for anyone that would like to
The
see
entire,
this.
the entire PowerPoint presentation, everything you look at is online.
Okay. And on page 1, the main reason for the increase for the 25-26 fiscal year is listed above are all due to the decrease in the cessation mitigation fund, which we just spoke about, increases in employment benefits, increase in debt service for the 2024 bond, and decrease in transfer from the waterfront. So I know one of my questions is, what was the dollar amount increase for the 2024 bond?
Just in the debt service line.
All right, you can get back to us on that. We could
I
mention.
just got to subtract two numbers and put the numbers
Okay.
together. Hold on, give me just 1 minute.
Uh-huh. That's, geez, Chris. Does anybody else have any questions on the first page? No. Okay. Sorry, I thought you would have that.
$95,000
Okay. That was the increase over the,
over the last year, yes.
okay, and for each dollar, what is it a percentage?
$47,000 is a percent.
47,000, okay. All right, good. Or not good, but, I spoke about, I'm on page 3, I already asked about the decrease in the contingency of 100,000.
Just real
Oh,
quick, Mayor,
sure.
on
Yeah, yeah.
page 4,
Mm-hmm,
the increase in the safety inspection that's resulting from the consultants for AMS and Village
Correct,
Square, is
correct.
that not paid by the
Correct,
developer?
but we have extra revenue and extra expenses, so they're both balanced out, yeah.
Okay,
Just to let everybody know, we had the building permit for AMS already into this current year's budget, so that's not coming in next year. So that's in the fund balance now. The expense will come next year, so that extra expense I booked for next year at the same time, so that way, when we pay it next year, but the revenue is already recognized this year.
okay.
so the revenue of 50K is recognized this year, and the expense of the 30,000 in the safety inspection comes out next year?
That's correct.
So then, totally, that would be a net of 20,000 after
Correct,
the
yep,
expense?
mhm.
Okay.
If, Mayor, if I can
Yeah,
go
sure.
back to the
Yeah.
beginning here. Page 2, you were saying that the tentative tax increase is 4.11, but the increase would have been 3.07 if not due to tax grievances?
That's
Was that-
correct.
Was that because of there was an influx of several tax
We had,
grievances? or
we had a number of tax grievances this year, and based on the equalization rate, a residential assessment ratio dropping, we had a discussion with the assessor, and we also have a grievance board, and the assessor, we had to lower it because they felt that we went to court, we're definitely going to lose based on the fair market values.
Okay, but we
Correct.
saw more of an influx of grievances this
Correct.
year compared to years past?
Correct, correct. And the big issue that I think is because it dropped the equalization rate and the residential assessment ratio. Not due to market values, it's just due to
Yep.
the artificial number of that number.
Yep. No, I just want a clarification on it, but thank you.
Yeah, no
You
problem.
know, because it's amazing when you look and you see houses going up for sale, the prices are way up there. So, okay, I'm on page 5. Anybody has anything on page 5? Page 6, so my question is, the decrease in state aid, which is on page 15, is that the cessation amount?
Yes,
Okay, all right. And that you have down, decrease in cessation grant is $416,472.
Correct. That's the decrease for next year. Correct.
All right, and that is, the cessation fund was a 7-year, whatever fund that, whatever you want to say, that the state gave us. And when is the last year, 2028?
I thought it was 2029.
2028, 2029.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
have, a few more years on that.
2027, 28 is the actual last year. So 28, 29 is the year without any cessation fund.
Okay.
Gotcha.
If you look at, so when you get to page 9, you'll see the big drop.
Okay, any questions up to page 9 so far?
No.
Okay. One of the things, the capital projects, yes, I think we're gonna set up a meeting, pretty quickly to discuss some things. And one of the things I'd like to say, I know in years past, what we would do, and I don't know, I haven't seen any of the requests from the departments, but I think before we do the budget, to really look at what the department requests are, and then maybe we can sort through those things if we decide at that time not to purchase or fund something, at least we can take it out of the budget for this year, and that might help lower expenses. So-
Okay, so there's no major
There's no
capital
okay,
expenses
good.
here at all. So I want to make sure, put it on the record.
Okay.
You will get a 5-year capital lift schedule report. I was thinking it's in the May or June meeting at a workshop, and for the department heads to come and explain what their capital wishes are. So there is no major capital equipment
Good.
in this
No,
budget
that's
at all.
good. Because we have been purchasing equipment and things for the different departments. So, but I'd kind of like to know, even before the capital thing, like going forward, what they're looking at, what things they're looking to do. I'm on page 10. Anybody have any questions on page 10? Okay. Okay, now we get into. Was that yours, Steve, or mine?
I think that's yours.
All right. 13, 14. I wanted to ask about interfund transfers. I see budgeted in 2024, 2025, it was 100,000. And the department request for this year is 550,000. So I'm just kind of wondering what that difference is.
I'm sorry, what page are you looking at?
It's on page 14. And it's interfund transfers, general fund. In 23, 24, it was 380, 24, 25, it was 100, and now I'm seeing department request of 550,000.
All the way down towards the bottom, Marcus.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
On the general fund.
Oh, that's for, I remember that. That's for I believe that's for the fire department and the paving. We do transfer to the capital for paving and for the fire department.
Okay.
And for the fire department, is that for the piece of apparatus, or is that for their
That's money we put aside.
yearly?
Yeah, just yearly, money goes in, and then you as the board control if that's going to be for repair or for purchase of equipment. The board had in the past has used that to offset the price of a truck, or if there's a major repair. We talk about the electrical issue we have with one of the pumper, if you wanted to make a major repair, but the fire department will have to come to the board to release those funds.
Okay, and so do we have a breakout of what that 550 is? How much of it's towards paving? How much is towards fire department?
Yeah, I can give that to you, yes.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah, if you can get back to us on
Yeah.
what we have, because I know we were saving $50,000 a year for purchase of fire department equipment,
Mhm.
and to see where that balance is currently. Okay. Okay, I already asked you the question, the state aid on page 15. I had asked that, how that went down, and that's cessation fund. I'm on page 16, 17. I just have a question. On page 17, under shared services, there's special items. What is special items?
Yeah, if you look at the page, I'll tell you right now.
There's an increase there that's requested. Well, so far, so it was 280 in last year's budget, and it's 447 this year. Sorry, I
That's
clicked on
the insurance,
So,
and then what is contingency account?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
so the majority of it's a
It's
contingency.
contingency, correct.
And then basically the 30,000 increase from the workers' comp.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's all in there, special
Yep.
items.
Plus the other
Special
rates
items, yep.
probably went up on the insurance and the building and the liability and et cetera.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. Yep.
As you know, Dan, insurance is just,
It's a hard market right
it's
now.
really tough right now.
Everybody's taking rate,
Yeah.
especially workers' comp.
And on page 19, this one I'm not understanding. So, under 1230.100 personnel services, I see 58,000.
That's a reallocation of my salary to, we never actually allocated, you'll see that a couple items. We never allocated my salary towards the water fund.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I would work water at the clerk's office. It wasn't allocated to the water fund in the past. So I know there should be a transfer out of the water fund to the general fund, but it's not backed up. Now what I did, I actually allocated, like, even the general foreman wasn't charged to the water fund, even though the water work. So we allocated some money around.
Yeah, over the years, I know that's been done, reallocation of different
Correct.
departments and different things.
Mhm.
Okay, just curious. I was like,
Yep.
Page 22, any questions? Page 23, any questions? 24, I just figured it was easier just to go page by page, so we're not all over the. Page 25, I did ask about the contingency account.
And also the special items that, so you can see what they are.
Oh,
What-
yes.
What page are we on?
Page
25?
25.
Okay.
Oh, now we're gonna go to
Oh.
26. Okay, good. Okay. And you know what? I apologize. I apologize to the public. I did not open the public hearing.
Oh, yeah.
I was so interested in diving in, I didn't do it. So,
Well, can we just go back and
yes,
open
we're
it?
gonna open it now. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for the budget. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
You gotta go back from the beginning.
Yeah, or rewind. We'll just rewind it all up.
Mine marked up though, so it's over pages.
Okay, page 27. Okay. Page 28.
26, can we go back?
Oh, sure.
please?
26?
Yes.
My question is on the fire department line. Looks like we're going from,
319,
mm-hmm,
669 to 327.
yep. And that's based upon,
Their requested line items,
okay.
Say that again.
And do we know, did they expend the budget from last year?
like, well, as, I don't know, the public knows, but as the board knows, we have no control over how they, after we give them the funds, they do an accounting of how the money was spent. That money stays with if there's a surplus or a deficit, that's within the fire department. Oh, the separate set of books that they keep, we have no control over what goes into the fire department.
So we don't know how they use it?
They give us a year-end report of their finances, yes.
So last year, they had how much allocated?
3.
304,
Let
549?
me get to the fire, let me get to, actually to the fire
319.
department.
25 to 19.
So, it actually, the amount, I'm sorry, that includes the service of all programs, so let me get into the detail. I'm sorry, so.
That includes this, okay, that
Yeah,
was my
so
other
their
question.
budget is it was 269, 699. Their request is 277. So it's like a $7,000 increase.
And they're audited every year. They're supposed to be audited.
They have not been audited. for
Is
many
that-
years.
They need to be audited. Everybody needs to have an audit. The village has an audit.
Correct.
So, okay.
So who recommends the audit?
They're do their own books. They have their own bookkeeper, and they're supposed to do their own audit. They haven't done an audit in years.
I
They
think
said they
that's
can't,
in our
the person who
contract,
was
but
their
it's-
auditor, I think, got sick or passed away, and they have done an audit in a few years.
Okay.
So how do we get them to have?
I've been trying to see if they can find somebody.
Can't we
Pardon?
request it as the commissioners?
Yeah, it's being requested. They say they've been trying to find somebody, but they can't find anybody to do
And
it.
it's a requirement under the contract, correct?
Correct.
They do provide you with
They do,
monthly,
they do provide us year-end reports, absolutely.
year-end?
Just year-end, but not audited financial statements.
Okay.
Okay, something we
Oh,
need
that's
to work
fishy.
on.
Do you want to talk to Shane?
Oh, with the fire department?
Fire department.
Oh, this is
Not-
the fire
Yeah.
department,
Fire
not the
department.
police.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Now we get me.
All right, to be continued.
Mhm.
All right. If you could get back to us, Marcus, before the April 22nd meeting of what the status of that is. Any questions? 27, 28? Nope. Okay. Healthcare. Oh, that's not here, but that seems to be, that blossomed this year. Sometimes it kind of stays kind of stable.
Yeah, this year was a good year compared to prior years in the health insurance, yes.
Okay, that's this year.
That's about the only thing in the insurance market that's kind of
Correct.
stayed on a plateau.
Well, they're making their money on
So-
other things.
Everything else is going up.
Yeah, retirement went up because the state actually changed their benefit package to police officers and firefighters, and mostly police officers. They actually increased the amount of overtime they can collect that's reportable, and they made some more changes for police departments. So that's where the cost,
Increasing their,
the benefits.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you see a little, I say increase in the retirement system.
All right, I'm on page 32. Any
Oh,
questions?
can we go back to 31, Mayor?
Sure,
I'm
sure.
sorry. Can you just explain to me the difference between street administration and
Sure.
street maintenance?
Yeah, street administration is just the general foreman. That's the administration. So that's just the general foreman, and then street maintenance is the highway department. So all the guys in the highway, and then later on you'll see sanitation.
Mm-hmm. That's all. I just wanted that explained.
Absolutely.
All righty.
So, like I said, so you'll see in 97,000, you'll see his salary was allocated, part of his salary was allocated
Understood.
to the
Thank
water
you.
fund too.
Page 32. Page 33. Page 34. And I see that you did increase, no, it's the same. And so we're, I don't know how, but we're under right now because budget,
Which line was
actual
that?
expended for the, I'm sorry, snow removal.
Oh, snow removal, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at actual as of March 10th, and I'm not thinking we're having any more snow, but that can change.
Right.
Okay, so we're under.
Yes.
We're under. We had budgeted 35,000, and right now expended is 25,563. All right, some years are worse than others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, page 35. Page 36. Page 37. Okay. 38, anything? Culture and recreation, parks maintenance. That continues on page 39. Any questions there? Page 40 continues culture and recreation and swimming pool. Okay. Page 41, adult recreation. Personnel services, contractual expenses. I see the budget 24-25 was 24,500, and it's up 5,000.
They have been very active. Most of it's been their trips.
Oh, for the seniors,
This
the
for
adult
seniors.
recreation
The
seniors,
seniors,
okay.
that's correct.
All right,
Can I just go back to one line here, and it's
Sure.
just, you know, I'm kind of just throwing it out there, but I see we're not allotting anything for celebrations. We're gonna be having a big celebration
27.
soon, right? How are we gonna plan for that?
The 100th anniversary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's 2025, so you got 2
Three-
years.
I think
That
something needs
could
to start
be-
being,
Put something in this year and then next year.
I mean, I just know it's coming up, and, you know, to me, it's a big deal.
There was another line
And I think
item.
we should start putting together a committee, but also planning financially for it.
Yeah,
It would be nice to do something special.
There
Well,
is
we
the-
have to, yeah.
the playground special events, that doesn't seem like it's utilized.
right,
Yeah,
right.
we seem to budget around
Yeah.
15,000 a year,
Mhm.
but we don't really use it, so that could be something we maybe allocate.
So
Yep.
maybe those unused expenditures go towards our 100th anniversary, maybe.
Move that over there.
And I don't know, if keep on picking on it, but our fund balance is strong enough to want to
Yeah.
allocate some of that money to a fund balance, and
Mhm.
I don't put 20,000 away, and that's for celebrations, or 10,000.
Mhm.
That's another option you can consider.
We had done, a couple years ago, a 90th birthday party. I guess we could look back and see what was spent there to get a
I
rough
think that would be a good
approximation.
gauge to go off
Yeah.
of, and then I think we,
You have to increase it too, but,
we're
know,
gonna have to bring it up in a meeting to try and form a committee.
yeah. But the 100th, I think it'll be more, I think there'll be more people that will come to that. So, but that's just, have it catered and on and on and on, so you have to have some money put aside. You are correct right there. Okay, page 42, the summer camp. Okay,
Pretty much
Page.
status quo.
yeah. Page 43, any questions or comments? That's,
The street cleaning that we had budgeted, I know we had the street cleaning services done last year. Was that, there was a rumor that I believe the vendor provided those services for free. Is that true, or?
Did we pay Cook last year?
Because it
Do you
says
remember?
actual expended was zero.
No, I think he billed us, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
Because it has actual expended zeros.
Yeah, I see that too. Maybe he was, I believe maybe I think I saw a bill. I think maybe he was charged in the wrong account.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Shows
I
like
definitely put that,
5,000.
yeah.
Thank him if
oh,
you
you
did.
know
Yeah,
what? You know
yeah.
what it is, Steve?
Yeah.
It's actual expended through March 10th of
10th.
this year.
Okay.
So he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't done
due
the
to
work this
May,
year yet.
so,
That's
yeah.
right, that's
But
right.
otherwise, I see 5,000, 5,000.
That's right. The year before that, that would have been the year before that he
Yeah,
did it,
that-
yes.
Okay.
Mhm. But he did bill us, I remember.
All right, okay.
Look up last year.
Page 44, under planning board, I see, okay, the budget as adopted 24-25 was 4,000, and then the budget was amended to 16,000, and then actual expended through March 10th of this year was $15,368. What was that increase? It's 8020.400.
The planning board.
Contractual expense.
It was, yeah, it's contractual expenses.
Well, it's actually down, no?
Yeah, we actually expended $15,000 for that. I'm trying to remember.
And usually it's budgeted 4,000.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
curious what the,
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I
but
can-
then we had an amended budget, right? Or no, that's for the coming
Yeah,
year.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for
Transfers.
actual expenses. I'm wondering,
Is that the consultant for the AMS?
that comes out of the escrow, that all came out of escrow. I'll find out and
Alright,
email you
that's-
guys.
all right, question mark? Whoop. Okay. Anything else on page 44?
Didn't we have, in the planning board have a consultant with traffic?
You think
Yeah, but that will
came
come out of the
Came out of the
escrow.
escrow.
That will come out of escrow as well, yeah. Yeah, so let me find out exactly what those actual expenses were. I'll get back to you.
Okay, good. On page 46, page 47, anything? Storm sewers, one of our favorite topics. Page 48, sanitation and street cleaning. So yeah, you see that $5,000 again for the street cleaning. Okay, page 49. Okay, so we still have 6,000 in there for shade trees.
Yes, yep.
Page 50, employee retirements, so this shows some of the increases here.
Yes, that's all, the majority of the benefits, correct.
Let's see, insurance, yeah, that stayed about the same, yep. And the good old MTA tax that we have to pay, why, I don't know, but because they say we do. And that, so everyone knows that, what did that come in? Last year it was budgeted for like 14,000. This year you have it budgeted 13,690. Page 51, debt service, the bonds, bond principal, bond interest, the bond anticipation note. Okay. Capital fund. So currently, in our capital fund, adopted budget as amended, actual, are we at, I'm just trying to read it off of here. Are we, in our capital fund, are we at 630 right now?
No, no, we're at 630, that's correct, yes.
Okay, that was one of my questions, where the
Correct.
capital fund was. Okay. And do you remember what Church Street was gonna cost us?
It was 400,000?
I thought it was 420.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we're at page 52. This is the water summary. So this is our water fund.
The interfund transfer that you have there is,
That's the transfer to the capital for water line replacements, water
Meter.
valves,
meters you would also
meters that
mention
we
as
talked
well.
about, start planning ahead of time. I'm big into planning for the future and started putting money aside for those projects.
And that's a restricted fund?
No, only sewer is, water is not. So as a board, if you put money in there, you want to take it out, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question while we're on that page.
Yes.
Under the line item for source of water, why is what was actually expended so much lower than what was actually budgeted?
But it will still be,
One
but
more bill.
yeah, we got a whole quarter that comes from Peekskill, and then we got a monthly bills that come from Montrose, so we're a
Okay.
couple months behind
So it's just a
still.
carryover? Okay.
Yeah, we have to wait for the
Yeah, as of
actual
March
bills to come in, yes.
Okay.
Okay, some good questions here.
And as you know, it's all based on the usage.
Yep.
Right.
But that's why it was a disparate,
Absolutely.
there was a big difference.
Yeah, yep. And by June, we'll have a real number. But
Yep.
then we get the last bills in May, we have to pay in June. but
Understood.
For the prior year.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, page 54 is still water operations, transmission and distribution. Page 55, employee benefits, interfund transfers. I'm just looking, 550? Okay, that was, we spoke about the 550
Yes.
before. Okay.
Mhm.
We spoke about on page 56, the debt service, the bonds. Okay, we're on page 57. And then it gets into, oh my goodness, I got all kinds of paper clips here to keep myself organized. Okay. So some distribution, revenues, once again, it shows general fund revenues. So this is a little bit more in-depth. Gets into income, revenues, departmental income. It's all broken down. I didn't see any big disparities here.
Now, as we discussed, there's not much change in a year to year.
Right.
It's the pilot, whole tech, those are the ones that really affect, and health insurance and benefits.
Those are the
Thing that
biggies.
jumps out is the building permits.
Correct. Building permits stand out, exactly, yep.
All right. Page 60. Page 61. State aid.
That's re-
17,000 is the,
The only state aid they will receive.
It's the only state aid, yeah. It's a whopping $17,000. And that's is that the CHIPS one, or is that the,
No, that's just general state aid.
oh, how nice of them. Yeah, so that's what who knows this year with the state budget, what's gonna happen there? We don't really know.
Yeah, usually the cessation fund, the decrease there, so it's pretty
It was
substantial.
almost in half.
Yep. Yeah, but since we increased our income from the pilot, the cessation fund gives a substantial decrease. It's the net effect of a decrease from the cessation fund. The more you get for the pilot, the less cessation fund money you get.
And that ends 2029?
Yes.
Okay, page 62, we do not get any federal aid, so you don't have to worry about that. We'd like to get federal aid, but we do not. Water fund revenues and other sources. Total water revenues. I think we talked about this debt service
Yeah,
fund.
That's the total,
revenue,
that's the
general
total,
fund
that's
transfer.
yeah, that's everything,
Okay.
yes.
So now we have the salary schedule, 2025, 2026. I'd already asked you about your line. Page 66, and you can see the percentages that are allocated for different things. Page 67.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
With the elections, having the county run the elections, the cost did not change?
I think, I don't know if I removed, the only thing with the reduction would be the election inspectors.
Okay.
And that's a good point. I gotta go back to see if I took that off. Give me a minute. Let me check that off real quick.
Page 66.
What would that be under?
That will be under elections.
Page 66, on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm looking at the actual budget line.
Yep, page 66 on the bottom, elections, it's up $1,500. Oh, it does say inspectors and poll clerks.
Yeah, so I probably
Yeah,
didn't
it's
take that,
so-
I didn't take that off, yeah.
1,500.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
I can take that off, yeah.
Alrighty. The next is public buildings, central garage, breaks it out, mechanic, overtime, longevity.
Oh, just a point there,
Sure.
as you know, we didn't have a mechanic based on the negotiations with the union. We will have a mechanic this year. So that's why in the prior years, it was zero. We'll actually have an expense for mechanic this year.
Okay, all right. The next is the police department. Salaries for the chief, sergeant, detective, patrolman.
And just to make a point, as we know, we have no contract, so that's the
Right.
current salary from the prior year.
That's
So
based upon the current salary.
That's based on the current salary, correct.
Okay.
The contract expired when?
It's by May of this
May
year.
this
May of this year?
May of this year,
31,
correct.
yeah. Safety inspection, building inspector, et cetera, different breakout of his salary. Street administration, street maintenance, summer labor, snow removal, street lighting, transportation, parks and maintenance. Okay, gets to swimming pools, director, guards, recreation, supervisor.
Do we know what the overtime was for the police department last year? Just curious.
All right, if you don't have that right now,
I
when
can
we
get
have
it.
the April 22nd meeting, you can,
They've been below budget, I can tell you that for sure. We have not
Okay.
been over budget. And there's a reason for that. We could discuss in the executive, but they've been under budget.
all right, good. That's good. All right, so, now, so it gets into the zoning board, planning board, wastewater collection system, wastewater treatment, sanitation, street cleaning. We're on page 72, we're on page 73. The water fund, So that kind of, that's going through the budget, that kind of sums everything up there. Yeah, it's a book, but it's just easier to take piece by piece than try to be all over this page, that page, everything.
That was a good.
Yeah, it's easier to just. The only other question, there's a few other questions, but what I need to, I need to say is, I see that we have a healthy fund balance, and I see the last couple years, the fund balance, the general fund balance has increased substantially. So what I would ask you is, under the auditors, they have, the major areas where revenues were more than the final budgetary estimates were sales tax, $198,175, sewer charges, $174,424, and earnings on investment, $206,974. So, if you could, not today, but if you could point out where that was, that what your estimate was of those for the budget, last year's budget, what those were. Because we're looking at, with the fund balance increase, I think it was 700.
Yes, correct.
Say $700,000. So I realize those came in over, but that's almost 10% fund balance increase. So I look at the 4.11 increase in the taxes, and then I see that kind of a fund balance. So you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I mean, it's good. I
Yeah,
mean, because
yeah.
I know you mentioned we could use this money, plus there was a substantial increase last year in the fund balance. So we have the fund balance amount of, I think by law, it's 1.5 million. It's supposed to be for the village here. And so now you were saying the other day that we have $2 million that we could use for capital projects without bonding or doing anything, or, we'll have that discussion, whether that gets you for the sewer treatment plant or the pool, or, that's a discussion the board will have to have. But I'm just thinking that, when we have substantial increases in the fund balance like that, it appears like we're overcharging for taxes.
I can totally
okay.
understand that,
All
but
right, yeah.
explanation.
That's why I just wanted to
No, that's fine,
understand.
and I can clarify some of that. The interest rate, I had no idea interest rates were going to be so high. Interest rates are dropping. I can tell you right now, we're not going to be earning that interest by next year.
Nope.
So again, I try to be conservative, try to be the best guess I can. If I was able to get the numbers closer, I would be a stock market expert, and I would be making millions of dollars every day. So I try to do the best guess I can
No,
based on
yeah.
historical knowledge that we're going to do. And sometimes there's surprises, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Yep.
The good news is that either the expenses came down lower. If you look at the budget, each line item, it's not that far off from the actuals from the prior year. And that's why I try to give you as much detail as possible. But those items you're talking about are things that I could not even guess that's what's going to come in. And that's why they were the numbers that they were.
And so, yeah, I want to go back and see what your estimates were originally on that.
Oh,
Because I just feel, that's good. It's everything, it's always good to have a good general fund balance. But in the same token, I'm saying, okay, but then we're raising taxes too, so.
Correct. But if
And
you,
this is like the second year in a row, I think it was a substantial fund balance increase.
yeah, and each one is explained in the orders report, and also when you look at the
Okay.
detail of the revenue lines, for example.
And what page do you have that?
Yeah, and
Do you
the,
have this one, Marcus? Is it this one?
no, I don't have. No, I'm going to go through the actual
Okay.
for the revenue, so you can see the interest income. If you look at page 59,
Okay. Auditors, okay. I'll look at
really 60 interest income.
that. Okay.
If you can see the actuals in 21-22, we had $10,000 worth of interest. That's actual. Once, and then we have 160, 169, 200,000. That's when interest rates started going up.
Right.
I budgeted 70,000. I had no idea what the interest rate is going to be. I have increased that to 100,000, hoping that interest rates stay somewhat at a reasonable number. But again, those line items that the orders are referred to, again, That's my estimate. The board can actually increase that number if you wanted to, but if it doesn't come in, you have a deficit. So that's the best guess that I can do based on what we've been as low as $10,000 in interest in the past, which was only 2 or 3 years ago.
And then the sales tax, that's a
So
big variable.
that's
You
what
just
I,
never know.
if the economy, they talk about recession, so if
Yeah.
that happens, then the sales tax will go down. Again, I'll try to be conservative based on the economy that I'm seeing right now. If that changes, then everything, all bets are off. But again, it's a board decision. You can make any changes you want to the budget. I think this is my best guess based on my knowledge that I have.
I just
and-
wanted to,
Yes,
understand
absolutely.
that. That's
Yep.
all. What other questions does the board have? We went through this.
Yeah, that basically was one of the questions that I had. We're padding the fund balance. And it's on the back of the taxpayers.
Correct.
And I agree, having a substantial amount in fund balance is great for the village. But I want it to work in the tax hike, so, in a tax raise.
Correct.
And we are over, way over what we need, and I just don't want that to hurt the taxpayers.
Correct.
I would,
know.
I would agree with both Teresa and Anthony.
So, I mean, it's up to the board. You could direct Marcus, whatever. I'm not looking to say a 0% tax increase because, but, 4% I think is a little high, but the board can discuss if they're looking to take some of that fund balance. These are tough times for people. We are in a tough economy, and I think we're gonna go further into a tough economy. I think this is,
If the
it's
board
gonna be a
wanted,
bumpy ride for a little
if the
bit.
board want to do anything, I would say they eliminate contingency. Because
But
every
you still
single,
have the other, you're right.
because you have the fund balance, then you're gonna dig into then you get into a deficit
Yeah.
the next year.
Yeah.
I would never believe in taking fund balance to
Okay.
go into the budget, because then what happens the year after that?
Right.
Right.
So if the board wants to reduce anything, because every single department head gave me their estimates the best they can, contingency is your safety cushion, but if you feel the fund balance strong enough to cover any deficit, but you understand that you're gonna have a deficit if that happens.
And what would the impact be if we reduce the tax rate by, let's say, 1% instead of 4
It's 50,000.
Yeah.
You take 50,000 off.
31%.
So if
And
we
the
go-
tax cap is
And so,
2?
Yeah, this year it's 2.
So if we went down
And
to,
that's something, Steve, that tax cap, at one time, the tax cap was a good thing, because people were getting money back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the state stopped that and said no more, so, it's kind of like, so you
It's
meet
not
the
really
tax
worth-
cap, right?
yeah.
But before, it was like you're under pressure to make sure you met that, because
not really
people got
worth it.
refunds.
So our lower contingency was as high as 500,000. We're down, we went from 355 to 255. So if you want to take a percentage off, $50,000 down to 250, you'll cut the increase to a little bit back, a little bit less than, a little bit over 3%. But if you want to remove the entire contingency,
no.
it's
No,
up to
I
you,
don't
it's
think
up to
we
the board.
wanna-
And,
Yeah.
and on the
Yeah.
other hand, we got to realize 2028, 2029, that cessation fund's going to be
Mm-hmm.
completely gone.
Correct.
Right.
So,
Correct. And
you
don't
could
forget,
look at a substantial
and
increase.
don't forget, you're going to have a $200,000 reduction between the station fund and the pilot next year.
Right.
And every year, you're gonna have a
Every year after.
$200,000 loss on that as well,
Yeah.
every year. And then you're gonna have $500,000 loss the last year.
So 4% this year may be better than an 8%.
In the
Next year.
final years.
Or,
We also have the tax increase with our 2 developments coming
Yep,
Right,
there's
Right.
money coming in there.
in the
Correct.
future.
yeah.
correct.
So we'll try and make up some of the differences of the cessation fund.
That will help that will offset my concern right now,
Yeah.
based on the tax searches we have 3 major people with tax certs, not including one other business that I think is gonna file a tax cert pretty soon. And those could be substantial losses in the tax rateable. There's 3
Right,
businesses
and
that
I
have.
know
What we
you were
did,
mentioning.
the settlements we have was small claims, which was residential. We're in the middle of going to court. We're going to 3 commercial tax certiorieries we have to deal with as well.
Okay,
It would
all
do.
right. Well, that's what we need to know, so
Right.
we can make these educated decisions.
And I
then-
totally understand your concern. That's why I'm saying then you have $2 million in capital that you could do capital projects that normally you would be borrowing for, doing projects for. So at the end of the day, I see that as a tax savings personally, because then you take that money and you can do capital projects that you normally couldn't be able to do without that money in there, or you have to borrow the money and pay. And the problem is, you'll be paying much higher interest rates right now,
Yes.
based on the economy.
Right.
So the money we borrowed in the past, even though we had a little increase, the interest rate was very, very low. So the
Right.
timing was good.
So
So,
with that $2 million, when we discuss the capital stuff, maybe we need to leave. We can't just, use it all on capital projects. We really need to look at the picture and
Correct,
see
well,
what's
that's one
coming for
time.
us down the road.
It's a one-time revenue and one-time expense.
But it's also making a lot of money for us too.
It's,
Yep.
you're earning a little bit of 4% interest right now.
So we should leave it
That's
alone.
helping us.
That, yep. Yeah. Yep. So I,
We have the
yeah.
pool, instead of bonding for the pool, if we needed the pool, that
Correct.
expense and,
You have the recreation money, and
Sure,
when
yeah.
you do the two developments, that'll bring some money, and that will probably the pool will probably get paid, at least the
Out of that.
waiting pool
Okay.
probably be paid with the recreation
rec
fee
fees.
itself.
yeah.
So all I'm saying is financially, you're in a much better shape than when I first started in the
Oh,
village.
no,
And
absolutely.
you have a lot more flexibility,
No doubt about
and
that.
a lot more flexibility that you have options to do something that projects and capital projects you probably couldn't have done in the past.
All right. So that's something we'll work through with the capital fund and see
By
what
going
things
back,
need
if
to
you,
be
by,
done.
by going back, if you want to reduce the taxes, listen, you want to take $50,000 off, you'll probably get in the 3% range.
Yeah. it's-
I wouldn't have,
Splitting
I wouldn't have
hairs,
a
yeah.
problem with that at all. It's up to you guys. Or leave it the way it is, and then we can see what next year looks like, and, so, it's up to the
We took a shot in
board.
the dark with the whole tech negotiations a couple of years back, and it worked out for us.
No, you
This
guys
one,
did-
I
yeah.
don't know, I don't like this one. I don't like it this year. I think that I think we're good where we are, and we see where we're at next year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can bring it way down next year.
Yes,
Depending on the state of the country and the economy.
correct, yeah. Like I said, I'm here to work for you guys, whatever you guys need, I'm here to help.
Appreciate it.
You're doing
Yes,
very good.
very much so.
Thank you.
And Eileen, our audience this evening, do you have any questions about the budget or?
No, I don't have any questions. I do agree.
Come to the mic.
Can I project?
I do agree with everybody about, you gotta look into the future because we're gonna get slammed. And even if we do end up with a golden error, that would be great, but who knows how this is gonna go. So I would concur with the board. Leave it where it is, steady the course.
contingency?
Huh?
Yeah, the contingency?
Everything tax to
Leave
tax
it.
Yeah.
increase.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
But,
Just
you know,
wanted to throw that out there.
yeah, I mean,
as
I
an option.
agree. If you can reduce it by the 50,000, that would be great. That would help probably, but I wouldn't go any more than that.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
Not with what you're looking at in the future.
yeah.
Where we don't have any funds coming in.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I wasn't looking at 0% either,
oh,
that's-
I don't
you
agree with
can't.
0%
Those days
at
are,
all.
those days
Thank
are,
you.
Yeah,
Thank
Those days
I,
are-
Dear to the
it's
heart.
like the
Long
most ridiculous,
seemed-
stupid idea.
Thank you.
Yeah. That seemed to be the popular food of thought at the time, and what was it, around 2000, I think, the 2000
2000.
timeframe.
Well, it goes way back before that
Yeah.
because it
Oh,
was-
the 90s, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yep,
I
yep,
know.
yep, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
Sells some people, but, in the long run, it doesn't
No.
benefit anybody.
That's correct.
Catches up
So-
with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Good
All
budget.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Eileen. Okay, any other comments or questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to close the public.
Hold on, you
Oh,
want to see if
hold
there's
on.
any attendees
Oh,
want
I'm
to raise
sorry,
their
I
hand? Let me see.
I figured they were all here in the audience tonight, so.
Eileen,
There's two attendees. Anybody want to say anything? Raise their hand? Nope.
No? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to table the public hearing. We will reopen it again on April 22nd at our workshop. And if the board agrees, we will pass the 25-26 budget on April 22nd ahead of schedule. I think we have until May 1st to pass it. But if we're all in agreement, we can pass it on the 22nd. So, made a motion. Can I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there any other comments anyone would like to make before we go into executive session for negotiation?
I would just like to thank Marcus and Sharon and Cindy and Joanna and Dominic on a job well done.
It was a team
So,
effort. Thank you.
It's, it doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate what you guys do.
Right, appreciate it. Thank you.
I agree with Dan. Good job, Marcus.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your time.
Yours.
Cindy, Sharon, Dominic, everybody involved, thank you.
Same here, the entire team, you're doing a great job,
Thank you.
and I trust your numbers.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so are we ready to go into executive session to discuss negotiation? Okay, I'd like to make a motion by Eileen, have a good night.
Bye,
To
Eileen.
go
Good night,
into
Eileen.
executive session to discuss
Second.
negotiation. Can I have a second? Thank you, Steve. Steve's ahead of us here. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.